Some movies grow old, some just get soaked in nostalgia, but a few slip through time and feel like they're always new. The Princess Bride is one of those. It's so simple, it almost feels like a joke. You've got a farm boy, a princess, revenge, a giant, a swordsman, a pirate. That's it. On paper, this little fantasy would not have worked. Yet here it is, one of the most beloved movies of all time. The Princess Bride doesn't try to be perfect. It just goes for it, without fuss. If you break it down, the story is almost silly. It's a fairy tale poking fun at fairy tales, a romance that winks at romance, and an adventure that never takes itself too seriously. The whole film is this big, obvious nudge to the audience, but somehow it plays everything straight, right to the heart. Most stories either spoof or fully embrace their genre. This one does both. It tears fairy tales apart, but somehow it also quietly puts them back together, right in front of you. You laugh at the cliches, the perfect love, the scheming prince, the classic quest, and the next thing you know, you believe in them again. That's the real trick. The Princess Bride doesn't ruin the genre. It reminds you why people love these stories in the first place. It's the characters that stick with you though. Inigo Montoya, who spends his entire life rehearsing one line for the man who killed his father. Wesley, the farm boy who turns into a pirate. A hero who, on paper, shouldn't feel real, but somehow he does. And Vizzini, who took the word inconceivable and made it legendary. These characters are big, almost storybook sized, but they always feel like they belong somewhere older, maybe around some campfire. There's something different too. They know who they are in the story. Inigo isn't just out for revenge. He's painfully aware that this has been his whole narrative. He repeats his line until when he finally gets to use it, it isn't just for show. It's honest. It hits. Even though romance goes deeper than you'd expect, Wesley and Buttercup aren't just playing at love. Their story gets messy, they lose each other, face heartbreak, stumble their way back together. The movie gives their love a shot at being real, with doubt and longing and stubborn hope. When they do find each other again, it feels earned. There's also something very funny about this movie. Even people who haven't seen it know bits and pieces. Inigo's line about his father is famous no matter who you are. For years, that's all I knew. Then I watched the whole thing and realized there are a dozen more lines, scenes, characters, each one unforgettable. It's the kind of movie you hear quoted at dinner tables, parties, online, everywhere. People love passing it around. Part of the magic is how funny the movie is, on purpose, but also in this weird, accidental way. It's the timing, the perfectly awkward lines, the way the movie never seems embarrassed by its own weirdness. It's in the timing, the perfectly awkward lines, the way the movie never seems embarrassed by its own weirdness. That's probably why it's so charming. The jokes relax you, then the story sneaks up and suddenly gets sincere. Next thing you know, you're caught off guard and you care a lot more than you expected. The humor is never just a way to dodge emotion either. If anything, it makes you drop your guard. You laugh and then bam, it goes for the heart. It's how The Princess Bride gets you invested. It makes it easy, comfortable, and then lets you feel something honest. Adventure, romance, humor. The film juggles it all at once without tripping over itself. The tone is just right. Never too much, never too little, The story knows when to crack wise, when to breathe, when to get real. There's always just enough of everything. It never drags a joke out. It never lingers too long. That's what makes the big moments hit. The movie also gets its audience. We're used to being a little cynical. Fairy tales, to be honest, tend to feel fake. This movie doesn't ignore that. Instead, it embraces the snark. It messes with your expectations, pokes fun at itself, but underneath, it's completely sincere. Little by little, that genuine heart shows through until that's all you feel. So why does it still work after all these years? Most new movies are trying so hard to impress. Bigger effects, twistier plots, endless sequels. Princess Bride just tells its story. That's it. Nothing desperate. That might be why it feels timeless. It reminds us, sometimes the best stories are simple, and they know it. And something worth mentioning, the story isn't the same as it was in William Goldman's original book. The novel is layered and complicated and wild in ways that wouldn't fit in a movie. So the film does what films do. It streamlines, it sharpens, it finds the emotion and lets it land fast. Everything about the movie's world signals hope, love, connection. The book leans on the idea that life's unfair and messy. The movie chooses warmth instead. That choice matters. People needed hope then. Honestly, we still do. What makes the movie different is hard to put into words. The movie feels like it has a soul. The people behind it look like they were having fun, telling a story for its own sake, not for marketing, not for sequels, not even to be important. Just making something that felt right. Maybe that's why the movies lasted. Everything about its legacy is built from person to person, passed between friends, family, generations. People just hand it off and say, "You've gotta watch this." That's not something studios can manufacture. It's rare. That's probably why no one really wants a remake. Why bother? The story's already there, exactly the way it should be. And the really funny part is that the movie can't lose. If you love it, perfect. If you don't, well, the movie's busy poking fun at its own genre anyway. The story works either way. That's part of its charm. In the end, The Princess Bride isn't just a film, it's a little time capsule from when storytelling could just be storytelling. When movies could be strange, sincere, totally unique. That's why it feels timeless. It's a reminder of what happens when you let a story just exist, imperfections and all, and trust that it's enough. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. But remember, thank you for giving me your time today. Peace.